So here's what we got to do. Here's what we got to do, okay? When someone asks, is wrestling fixed? Just say,
I'm not sure.
No. If they say, is wrestling fixed? The answer is, I didn't know it was broken.
You didn't?
No, it's not. It's not. I love pro wrestling.
Oh.
Yeah. Sports
The light's on.
Oh, hey, Myron. Thank you. That's our director out there.
Yeah.
Myron Schrenkel. Do you know? Did you ever meet Myron?
Oh, I've not had the pleasure of meeting him.
Myron is my oldest friend. We went to school together.
Oh.
Yes. So I call him Uncle Myron.
Oh.
So, well, welcome everybody down to Apter's Alley for another edition of the Bill Apter Video Magazine podcast. And with me, my co-host, he is known as Good Young JS. Welcome back. Welcome back.
You did not get my email.
What email?
About the name change.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad you like that. I get 1,000 emails a day.
Oh, look at you.
By the way, speaking about emails, I got a text just a few minutes ago. So remember, it's not broken. And you can buy this cheap after the show.
Oh,
I'll give you here. Get you a copy of it.
Okay.
So just a little while ago, as you people may know, you remember Ricky the Dragon Steamboat?
Yes.
One of the great wrestlers of all time. One of my personal favorites, not just as a wrestler, but when I used to photograph wrestlers in a makeshift studio, he'd stand there for days if I needed him to. And he looked so great, Josh, in posed pictures. He really did. But a couple of days ago, he had hip surgery. Yeah, he's one of the hippest people I've ever known.
Oh, especially now.
Yeah, yes. And hang on. He and I were texting before, and I told him I want to read this to the millions and millions of people that are watching here. I said to him, how are you feeling? And he said, thank you, Bill. I'm resting up. A lot of pain yesterday, but much better today. Ricky.
No, he said, who is this?
No, he didn't say that. That's a dip. No. He's taking liberties here. And then he did say that, see, he and I were big fans of Pedro Morales. And Pedro Morales, whenever he did an interview with Vince McMahon, and they would, I'll tell you what it was like. You be Vince McMahon, and you ask me about my match upcoming at Madison Square Garden against Ken Patera.
Oh, goddamn, pal. How's your match? It's coming up.
You can do it better, Vince McMahon. Come on.
Yeah, then I feel like I'm stealing a
gimmick
from something.
Just give me unquestionably.
Unquestionably, this is going to be the greatest. Oh, what a maneuver. Is that better?
That's better, but ask me the question.
Pedro, you have a match coming up, and something's going to be quite the spectacle. And I want to know how you feel about it.
Well, Vince, I am a little nervous, but I am ready for any kind of action, baby. So every time I see Ricky Steamboat, he and I always do that. Been doing that forever. Been doing that forever.
I look forward to seeing that when he's up and ready to go.
Yeah, he's
the worst Vince McMahon impersonation I've ever done in my entire life.
Ricky is not Dragon. He's the Dragon. But
he's limping right now.
I do a pretty decent Vince. I do hundreds of wrestling imitations.
Yeah, is this the good one?
Okay, let's go. Unquestionably, you're fired.
Okay. See, and I was, and that's, you know what? Oh, am I really?
No.
Can I renegotiate a new contract?
Renegotiate.
So, that's the interesting thing about Vince McMahon, though.
Which is what?
Well, it's tough because you're saying, here, do this interview with Pedro Morales.
Yeah.
And everybody just thinks Mr. McMahon now. It's so tough it's tough to try and channel the old Vince McMahon, the commentator,
He was, I'll tell you something, when Vince McMahon was the commentator, he was incredible. I mean, there were great commentators and great broadcasters, but McMahon had this great style of calling, oh, look at this, Frobuscus has been injured unquestionably.
What a maneuver.
Yeah, but he was...
You only got one, too? No.
I'd like to see him come back one more time.
So would I. He did that with Jesse Ventura a number of years ago now.
Yeah.
But I think that may have been it for him.
So we decided that every week, and by the way, next week we're not going to be here.
Nope. And
the reason being, and we're going to discuss this with our special guest, J.J. Dillon, in just a few minutes. The reason is that Phantom Events in most Regal brand theaters next Thursday night are running this incredible documentary. I've seen the trailer called 350 Days, and it's about wrestlers on the road.
Yeah.
And JJ is a large part of this. And the late, great Superfly Jimmy Snuka is in it. The still alive superstar Billy Graham. Bret Hart. I do a Bret Hart, by the way.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let me hear it.
Ask me, Bret, why did I come back to the WWE?
Bret, why did you come back to the WWE?
I wanted to get enough money to clear my throat. Not bad, huh?
So there you go.
Okay. There you go. And by the way, if you count there you goes when you say something to somebody every day, I counted 38 one day. I said, boy, that was a good there. Hey, there you go. Hey, I'm going to wrestling matches this week. Hey, there you go.
Yeah, I think people just don't know how to respond to you sometimes.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, so welcome everybody. And now what I want to do is also talk about, so that's why we won't be here next week. And we'll do some video after that. Big Ray Hernandez and Billy Ray Valentine will be at the New York premiere doing interviews. So Darren Antola and Evan Ginsberg, the producers of this, I can't wait to see it. So let's move on right now. And again, later on, we're going to talk about, you know what? We're going to talk about masked wrestlers. Right?
Let's do it. Do you have any masks?
You know what? I think we should do this show masked.
Okay. I mean, I don't think anyone's arguing for you, but for me, I mean, this is why people tune in.
Rey Mysterio or Shark Boy?
I think Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Shark Boy. Yeah.
Which one? Okay, put it on.
Now, is this a real ring worn Rey Mysterio?
That is, and it's signed.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. To my son Brandon, and I will be. Oh, I'll be Mr. Wrestling number 2.
Oh.
One of my favorite people in the whole world. I'll be Kyle. So when you want to do the whole show masked?
Well, we'll see how I can breathe in this thing, but
if not, we'll get you another mask.
You know,
there's plenty of minutes.
If I can even fit in.
Let's see.
You know, by the way, this is more difficult than the Taz singlet.
Well, open the back of it.
Yeah, I got to do that. Well, this is a collector's item. You know, I got a stopwatch after last week because you clocked me in at 19 seconds for the Taz singlet.
Yes.
And as I take, a half hour to put this on, I'll tell you, it was 13 seconds.
13 seconds.
Yeah,
that was 19
seconds. Nope.
Okay, so let's see if you can get that on. I usually have these on a dummy head. Meaning.
So.
Oh wow. Okay, so hang on. Let me put on my 2.
You know, he's not a particularly large person, Rey Mysterio.
Well, there you go, boy. It's me, Mr. Wrestler number 2. So, masked wrestlers. This is our. What do you think?
I think it's okay. That's my Rey Mysterio.
That's very good. Well, you need to.
It was offensive, but at least I'm wearing a mask.
You need to go down a little bit. Not your voice. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. You want to be Rey Mysterio. Keep going. Perfect. I like it. I like it. I really do. So, as you know, the first thing we always do on our weekly show is we go to the gorilla position.
Yes.
To Ryan
Bowman.
I
was just in the gorilla position.
I know that, to find out how you like the 2 impersonation. You haven't heard it yet. Rey Mysterio, you be the interviewer and ask me what I'm going to do to Tommy Rich.
Mr. Wrestling 2, what are you going to do to Tommy Rich?
Well, you know something, boy? Friday night at the Omni, Tommy Rich, you had it, boy. You're going to the moon.
619.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I like it.
Anyway, let's go to the gorilla position right now, and we will check out who Ryan Bowman and Michael Melchior have for the Wrestler of the Week this week. All right, let's see. Let's get him in here, boy. All right, you gonna hang around?
Yeah. I'm Ryan Bowman from thegorillaposition.com, telling the stories of pro wrestling storytellers. Here with this edition of the Apter Video Podcast, Wrestler of the Week. While we normally focus on the biggest company in the world, on this episode, we'll be honoring a competitor outside of WWE who has proven once again that anytime and any place, he can be absolutely lethal. Many fans of ROH thought that perennial favorite Cody Rhodes would emerge with the company's World Heavyweight title at Best in the World last Friday, or possibly even crowd favorite Marty Scurll. But it wouldn't be a night for villains or nightmares, as champion Dalton Castle narrowly escaped a hard-fought bout. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, Jay Lethal, one of the most celebrated stars in Ring of Honor history, captured the crown from the flamboyant showman the very next day.
Yes.
The under-the-radar win may have stunned some casual observers, but anyone who saw the entertaining and high-octane veteran grab the coveted gold 2 years ago knows that he's always had the skills of a champion. That culminated this week with the now second world title reign of his illustrious career.
That's good, boy.
Capturing the ROH World Heavyweight title and shocking the system, Jay Lethal is this edition's Wrestler of the Week.
Well, that's a damn good choice. Hey, good young JS, come on back here. And your Rey Mysterio gimmick. And whoa, it's Shark Boy. It's Shark Boy. You've been swimming. You talking to the Gonzo Shark?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was not. You know what? This is just not going to work for me. I was talking to somebody, and I can't really go into details, but I am putting together a pretty good guest for a future episode. Now, I don't want to give any spoilers, but let's just say he's in the wrestling business.
Well, that's a heck of a spoiler, boy. Well, I'm going to change masks before we get our guest on the phone. So hang on here. It's going to be a lot of my comb over. Good.
Let's
see here. The dress up Mil Mascaras.
Oh, it's the fancy one.
Not Mil Moskowitz. Mil Mascaras.
No.
By the way, we do know you're trying to talk to us, everybody, but we have a lot to get to.
We're just ignoring you.
No, but we'll see toward the end of the show. We'll try and answer some of your comments. Our guest is standing by on the phone. We're going to talk to him shortly, and then we have a lot. This is the Mil Mascaras.
Yeah, that's staying on.
And you know who wears this too? Insane Bill Mascalo.
Oh, I've heard about him.
When I do my one-man, Bill Apter does his one-man show, I am the one who opens up rapping Barry Manilow song. I can't smile without you. I can't smile without you. So right now, I think what we're going to do is call Hey Hey Dillon. Is that right?
I think it's Hey Hey. It's Conrad.
No. Hey Hey Dillon. JJ Dillon. All right.
Oh, there we are.
Let's see if we can get JJ Dillon on the phone here. I do have his phone number here. Where did you disappear to? You still on that phone call?
I'm just
just
struggling to take this off.
Here we go.
Private.
Here we go.
Oh, you should keep it on.
I'm going to. Easier to interview. I don't want Insane Bill Mascalo to interview J.J. Dillon. Oh, where has he gone?
Put that on the list of who snubbed us.
No, he's never snubbed us. Never snubbed us.
Hello, this is James. I'm not available to take your call.
Oh.
Please leave me a message, and I will get back to you. Thanks, and have a great day.
Okay, well.
At the tone, please record your message.
We will leave a message.
When you finish recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Mr. Dillon, this is Bill Apter from the Apter cast. I like that.
Yeah.
And we're on live, and we're a minute early. Can you please call us back at 21? Well, you have my number, so please give us a call back. All right.
You ever feel like this week, while we're having fun, is also very quickly going off the rails?
Yeah, but it's okay.
Okay.
It's all right. So in the meantime, there are people who want to talk to us.
Yeah, let's see what they have to say.
Yeah, let's see. Amy, J.J. Dillon should be here shortly, hopefully. Yes, Nasty Nate, Shark Boy. This is a roast. I don't think it is. By the way, shut up, McMahon. All right. By the way, talking about a roast, part of StarCast, that great fan fest that is coming. It's right behind you.
Oh, there it is.
And Josh Good Young JS
Nope.
has been assigned by me and approved by Hey, it's Conrad to cover it for OneWrestling.com. And there will be a roast of Bruce Pritchard that the fans can actually
Sounds
go
delicious.
to. Yeah. But you know what? I want to talk about wrestling roasts. And this leads me into something else here. Okay, my dear friend Sean Oliver wrote a book. He is the man who is responsible for kayfabe commentaries.
Yes. Some
of the great shoot interviews of all time. And what a great guy, too, Sean Oliver. And I hosted several ring roasts, which were roasts of wrestlers. And I found out that when comedians and other people in the business, we'll get back to that later. We will get back to that later. Is this J.J. Dillon?
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Cole. I went out to get pizza for Jeffrey and I.
Oh, well, hang on. We're on live. Hold on. Let me put you on another. Hang on a minute. Let me put you on our big speaker system. You there, J.J.?
Yes.
Hang on a minute. Give me a sound check, please.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right. Let me just make you a little bit loud. I'm standing here with Good Young JS, my co-host here. Do you like that name?
No.
JJ?
Do I? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. See, he likes the name.
Well, that aside, it's an honor to speak to you.
So, JJ, there's a main reason I asked you to come on to our live show, but the theme of today's show is masked wrestlers, and we just came up with this about an hour ago. And I think people who know me and people who have read my book know my history of my favorite masked wrestler of all time, the way he wrestled in the ring, and everything he did in the business was Mil Mascaras.
And I'm sure that you would find a lot of people who would totally agree with you.
Yes.
And he would, if not at the top of my list, he would certainly be him. And I had the honor of actually wrestling him on several occasions.
Really?
Oh, see, I didn't know that. So I always found what he did in the ring, he made it, because I had first seen him on the old Olympic Auditorium shows when they ran them on UHF Channel 41 in New York. And I just remember that everything he did was so fluid and he made everything look so easy.
Yeah, I agree. And of course, I'm giving my age away, but
no, you're not.
You know, when you talk about legendary masked wrestlers, the name that immediately comes to mind for anybody my age, of course, is the legendary El Santo. And I, again, had the honor of, while I was still active, of having wrestled El Santo 2 times, very late in his career. He made a swing through the lower West Texas, which was Albuquerque. I wrestled him Saturday, I think, in Phoenix, and then on Monday in El Paso. And tag team match. He and Ricky Romero against myself, and I think like the Judge Dubois. But anyway, the place was just jam packed with people, and I mean, when you talk about legendary wrestlers, of course, El Santo, Mil Mascaras, both of them way up to the top of everybody's list.
Oh, JJ, I had a question for you. You just mentioned when you wrestled, and I think a lot of people remember you for either the behind-the-scenes aspect of your career or, of course, the legendary manager of the Four Horsemen.
Well, wait, I wanted to stay with the El Santo thing.
Oh, I wanted to talk about our guest, J.J. Dillon.
Oh, we're gonna move on to that, definitely, Josh.
Oh, okay.
This is he's still a rookie with the
you can see who showed
interviews here. No. What made El Santo special to you, JJ?
I think it was the reputation that preceded him when I saw him. I mean, he was, as was the case with Mil Mascaras, also very renowned for the movies that they made in Mexico. And El Santo, I think, was the one that, in my impression, paved the way for all those that followed. So he was first of all, regarded as an action movie star from Mexican movies, and then transitioned back to his live arena appearances. So I consider it, a real star on my resume to say, hey, I wrestled the original El Santo, and I wrestled him more than one time.
I'm gonna date me, and I don't mean it that way. I'm gonna date me, but when I was growing up and I watched wrestling on Channel 5 in New York, I remember the Zebra Kid. Do you remember him?
George Bolus, absolutely.
Yes.
I knew him very well. He was one of the first people that I interacted with, and it's a funny story. When you're a young kid, you think, you're really smart. And I had read somewhere it was the Greek origin from Ohio, and his name was George Bolus. So he appeared, television on Walnut Street in Philadelphia.
Oh.
And I waited until everybody was leaving, and he comes outside, he's wearing his mask, and it was a one-way traffic going from my left to my right, and directly across the street, you had to go down a ramp into a parking garage. So as he came out, being not intending to be disrespectful, I said, "Good evening, Mr. Bolus." Well, he never even blinked, never even shot me a look, and just proceeded to wait. The traffic was clear, and walked across the street down the ramp. So I was so familiar with the area that I ran around the block, knowing that to get out, he had to come up the ramp on the opposite side to a one-way street now going to the left. And of course, as he came up the ramp, the last thing he expected was to see somebody that recognized him, and of course, he'd removed his mask. As he came up, he couldn't immediately go into the flow of traffic because there were cars. And I said, again, "Good evening, Mr. Bolus." And he looked up at me and he cracked a big smile. And he said, "How are you?"
That's great.
And I said, "Good." And I said, "I meant no disrespect." And it actually became the beginning of a friendship where he corresponded. He was a great world traveler. He was very, very popular in England and in other parts of Europe. And he used to correspond with me. And in those days, there was like a airmail gram. It was probably a 5x11 blue-colored sheet of paper that you could write a letter on.
There was no internet.
And there was instructions, no internet. Instructions on how to fold it, so that you could then put a return address, address it, and seal it, and you can mail it internationally. And so he and I corresponded from different parts of the world. And I have a picture on the wall of him leaving one of the arenas with his mask on. And then I also have a picture that I years later found on the internet of a young George Bolus from his amateur career I think it was at Ohio State.
Yeah. So one of my favorite lines, by the way, by a masked wrestler is there was a guy named Tony Nero who was the Black Demon. And I remember
Tony Nero.
Yeah. And I remember in 1971, I did an interview with him. And I said, "Why do you wear the mask?" And he said, "I wear this mask because I'm so good looking that the promoters would have to keep the women from jumping on me." He was a great. Did you ever see, and I'm going to ask you this, because when Mil Mascaras came up to the PWI offices to meet Stanley Weston, the owner of the magazines, who helped make him into a star because he was on the cover all the time, he would not take the mask off. I saw him several times without the mask. He trusted me with it, but I remember him every place. He would never take the mask off. Did you ever see him without the mask?
He wore it, kept it on in the dressing room, but of course, when as timing was, it wasn't like ambushing him. It just was my place in the card was I'm going to the shower. He's in the shower, and of course, without his mask. And, no big deal. Just
oh, wait a minute. See, I saw him in the shower with the mask on many times.
And he took masks off, whether it was the shampoo, his hair, what, but he was alone. And then I walked in, and it was, gang showers. And the only thing I remember was that he was an incredibly handsome man.
Yeah, but yeah. So, all right. So we'll move on now from Mass Wrestlers. Josh wanted to ask you a couple of good young JS here wanted to ask you a few questions, and then we need to talk about why we really brought you on here today.
Yeah, and I think that this will probably flow right into that. My question was because I for me personally, if I can date myself, I grew up on you as a manager of the Four Horsemen, and a lot of people, of course, the behind the scenes, as I mentioned before, all the work that you've done. A lot of people, I don't know if they realize your wrestling career. I mean, everybody knows that you did wrestle, but I was wondering if you could maybe briefly tell us a little bit about your in-ring career and how that transitioned into a managerial career. And that should then maybe lead us into this documentary that you were a part of.
Yeah, well, if you, to really go back in history, I was somebody that just was enthralled with the business, and I hung around, which a lot of people do that are, I don't know, maybe a lot is, but I would travel rather than just when they came to my hometown. And so I was always respectable to the wrestlers, and therefore they accepted me. And over a period of time, they realized that you have that respect, and it's understandable that they're more protective, especially back in those early days of the business, and less likely to open up. And when I'm talking about when a lot of them that were working the East Coast territory used to live in Paulsboro, New Jersey, which is near Camden, and it was a strategic location because they could go north.
Wait a sec, JJ.
Yep.
Hold on a sec. A little trivia thing there is that the video Lords of the Ring that Gordon Soley and I hosted was taped in a studio in Paulsboro, New Jersey.
Wow.
Okay, go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Small world.
Paulsboro would be ideal for going around New York and up to New England, and then they would go down west to the Washington, D.C. area and go as far west as Pittsburgh. And I became friends, first of all, with Hans Mortier, and who was a huge international star, but had a tremendous run. He usually wore the mask, but he in the New York area at that time, wrestlers were not allowed to wear a mask. So he wore like a gold helmet.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And that's what the Hans Mortier.
Well, I don't think Josh knows, JJ. I don't think Josh knows that up until Mil Mascaras debuted at the Garden in 1971 or 72, masked wrestlers were banned in New York State. You had to wear an open face mask, correct?
Yeah. I didn't know what the date was, but you would certainly know if you said. What did you say? 1972?
71 or 72. Mascaras made his debut.
That would be about right.
And he wrestled a spoiler, Don Hardin, during that time, but Hardin had to wear the open face mask, and Mascaras was allowed to wear the mask.
Yeah.
It was weird. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. A little tangent.
No, but and again, you talk about Don Hardin, spoiler, and again, just one of the great wrestlers in the history of the business. And I remember him being able to walk the top rope, which of course the Undertaker later did.
Right.
But as you and I know, Bill, that have been around before, we have nothing seems original to us. And the first one that I remember walking the top rope, without holding on to anyone was the spoiler, Don Jardine.
And Johnny Rods.
Johnny Rods too, yeah.
He was the other guy.
Yeah, there weren't many guys that the rope had to be taught to do it, and most of the places the top rope certainly was taught, because otherwise when guys hit the ropes they would sag and they would go right over the top half of the floor. Yeah. So they were always the first and second ropes were the ones that were kept more taught as a protection for the wrestlers.
So the transition from wrestling to manager, was it a logical thing for you?
I mean, I go back to the early days, remembering Bobby Davis managing Buddy Rogers.
Oh, me too.
Bob Orton.
Me too.
Yeah. And Bobby Davis was just, he had everything. He was
Wait a minute.
And he had that look that he had the Elvis duck
yes,
comb back haircut, and he had that look about him that, as a wrestling fan, if you could get close to him, you just wanted to reach out and slap him. That's how much natural heat that he generated.
JJ, as soon as you mentioned him, I've got to do this. Mr. Morgan, Nature Boy Buddy Rogers will destroy Edward Carpentier. That's what he sounded like.
Yes, it was. And years later,
you're having a moment.
Yeah, really.
I was working in the office of W.C. Duncan, and I get a phone call one day because on our tour, we were in Columbus. We had an event in Columbus, Ohio, and I get a phone call from a guy, and he says, "You wouldn't know who I am. I don't think you could possibly remember." But he said, "There's an event tonight in Columbus, and I had some friends that wanted to go, and I was hoping I could get a couple of complimentary tickets." And he said, "I know you don't know me, but my name is Bobby Davis." And I couldn't help but laugh over the phone. And I said, "Bobby, I'm giving my age away, but not only do I know you, but it's a distinct honor to have been the one to pick up the phone and physically talk to you, and I would be delighted to take care of your guest, whoever it is." And with tickets for the event that night, and we ended up having a nice conversation for several minutes.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we want to, due to time here, we want to talk about the main focus of why we brought you in next Thursday in theaters all around the United States, a documentary produced by Evan Ginsberg and Darren the Cutman Antola, called 350 Days. And it's a documentary starring so many wrestlers who have been on the road for 350 days plus, including you, through their careers. Superstar Billy Graham, Bret Hart, Billy Eadie, the Masked Superstar, Tito Santana, so many other names. Greg Valentine. So tell us about 350 Days. And by the way, that is coming exclusive through Phantom Events and exclusive, from what I understand, to the Regal movie theater chains.
I believe so.
Regal Theater is the premiere, and I understand there's a premiere that same day on the West Coast, and then it will actually appear at, if I heard correct information, it's something like 400 theaters nationally. I mean, this is a full-length feature movie about a typical year on the road for the professional wrestler, where 350 days out of the 365 is a credible number about the days when you would give your wife or significant other a kiss on the cheek and say, either you'd be home that night, but it would be late, or I'm going to be away for this little tour, and I'll see you in a couple days. And that was the typical life of the full-time professional wrestler. And this documentary, I was honored that I was contacted and asked if I would participate, which I was honored to do so. And the crew came into my home in Delaware and spent about 6 hours taping an interview that covered anything and everything related to my career.
Yeah.
And like you said, I'm one of many that ended up as part of this documentary. So I was asked if I was available, which I am, to come to the premiere in New York on the 19th. And it just is, I'm excited because I have not seen the actual theater version that's going to air that day. All I know is what was recorded here, and how it edited down, I know. And actually they came back a second time, and the producers asked me if I would tape, and they were so pleased with my participation film itself and asked me if I would do a short introduction, which I did.
Yeah.
And then he called me later on and said, the introduction, was just fit so well. Could the producer, the producer wanted to come back again a third time to my home and record a kind of a post comment to the movie, which was recorded, and I understand that that's going to be part of it too. So,
wow,
that's great. That's great.
I'm excited to come to New York and to be there for the premiere, and to know that I had a significant part in it, and that it's a full-length movie about the life of professional wrestling, which was my life.
Yes, and it's still is. Now, Josh and I will be along with a lot of other fans at the Warrington, Pennsylvania Regal Movie Theater. So come hang out. We're not picking up the tab for you guys or girls, and afterwards we'll go out for pizza and we'll discuss the movie. JJ, thank you for always being there for these kind of fabulous events, and your love and enthusiasm of the business is just something that is always there, and you know how passionate I am about it as well. So
those are kind words, and our friendship goes back a long, long way. And of course, I've met your family.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how our friendship goes, and you've known the other members of my family.
Yep.
And we just the one thing that we always shared was a passion for this wonderful business.
Absolutely.
And I say it has given me everything that I have in the way of material possessions, and the fact that I hold 2 Hall of Fame rings is
it's amazing,
because of the love that professional wrestling and the wonderful fans who support it have given back to me. And so anytime that I can continue to be involved, to do a project like this, I feel honored to even be asked to do it, and look forward to coming to Manhattan for the premiere.
That's great.
We look forward to seeing it, and I look forward to. I've never actually had the pleasure of meeting you. It's been an honor to talk to you today. But I believe we will all be at StarCast.
Yes,
and I hope I get an opportunity to meet you in
Chicago.
person.
Yeah,
that's in Chicago. Yeah.
Yes, we will be. We're all in.
As well.
We're all in. And by the way, when you read, JJ's got a great book out, and when you read my book, you'll find out how JJ Dillon kind of brokered a deal to get me to work for the WWF way back when. That's another story. JJ, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
And I'll talk to you in a few days.
Very, very good, and appreciate the chance to be on and to help tell all the fans about the debut of this great film. And the fans that come, we're going to share it together, because I have yet to see the finished product, and just the thought that it's a full-length feature movie in the theater about the world of professional wrestling and the people in it. I'm just honored that I was asked to be a part of it, and I'm excited to see the movie itself.
No one better.
That's great.
No one better. Thank you, JJ.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you at the matches. All right, JJ Dillon, always great. So what we're going to do now is we're going to accelerate this a little bit. Hold on a minute. And our Morgan Minute. We have a lot of rankings and stuff, but Gary Morgenstein, former PWI.
Do me a favor, though.
Go ahead.
I have to make another call.
Oh, well,
please do not start.
Morgan?
No, do not start this until I get back.
Well, it all depends.
Right back.
I can't. We're on a time thing here, so and I called Gary and I told him what the JS. I don't know where he went. Hey, is this the Morgie Minute, man?
This is the Morgie Minute.
Doggone you. It's great to hear your voice.
Same here, my friend. How's everything?
By the way, Gary and I, every time we talk, we both were huge fans, and I was a dear friend of Bruno Sammartino. And when Bruno was a broadcaster, and he broadcasted with Vince McMahon, he'd always say, well, doggone that guy, or doggone you. So anytime Gary and I always talk, what do we say?
Doggone you.
Yeah, doggone you. Hey, so your book, A Mound Over Hell, is doing great.
Yes, it's getting very wonderful reviews. People seem to like it, which is very nice to hear as a writer.
Yeah.
It's science fiction and baseball. Baseball's last season, 2098. So yes, it's doing very well.
And
yeah.
and you and Ian and Somo, and I'm part of this too, are now working on the very first pro wrestling sci-fi graphic novel.
Yes, it's coming along great. It's very exciting. It's a world in the near future where the central part of everyone's life is wrestling.
Yeah.
So, you could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, big deal. But to be a wrestler, to have that performance art skill, to have the entertainment value, to touch people's lives the way it does. Yes, so wrestling is the key in a world which is a dictatorship.
Well, we will keep everybody posted. Now, we have a theme today.
Yeah.
The theme is masked wrestlers. And just a minute ago, I was wearing the mask of your favorite masked wrestler,
Oh, I love him.
Mr. Wrestling number 2.
Who was also the favorite wrestler of former President Jimmy Carter.
That's true. And Lillian Carter, his mother.
Yes. I mean, I love that.
Hold on. Gary, hang on a minute. Let me put the mask on while you're... Okay, tell us your story, and let me put the mask on here. Okay, it's on. Go for it.
There was so many photos of Lillian Carter with Mr. Wrestling 2. And he still is. He lives in Hawaii now. And he is such a gracious man. But as we know, it's just because he was your friend of his, he had a short fuse. And I was thinking back, it was the early 80s, and he got into quite an altercation with the Masked Assassin.
Oh, now, yeah.
Remember that, but he Mr. Wrestling 1 took the Georgia tag team title away from the Masked Assassins 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And they were doing an in-depth interview, and the Masked Assassin just got under the Q's skin. And, you could see under the mask him turning red, and he challenged the Masked Assassin to come into the ring, and the assassin refused. Q dragged him in. They started fighting, and the assassin, Q jumped him, and they pulled off the mask. And they had to take Q out of the ring with his face covered.
Yeah, with a towel. I remember that. You know what, Mr. Wrestling number 2, and I told him this for years, who always reminded me, if you remember the show, The Honeymooners?
Yeah.
So Wrestling 2, when he did his interview, he sounded like Ralph Cramden. Assassin number 1 and 2, you're going to the moon, boy. So,
and he had a great move, the knee lift.
Yes. Oh, that was the knee power. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was, and I don't know if you realize, but that his lovely wife was a seamstress and a costume designer.
Yes, Olivia made the... Yes, she made all the Greg Valentine, Ric Flair's robes, the Killer Bees. Yeah.
And for country performers like Porter Wagner.
Yeah.
And he was just a really wonderful man. He is a wonderful man, and he was a class act.
Yeah,
and
always.
The more people up in the Northeast in the WWF had seen more of him.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Gary, thank you so much. And where can people find more information about you and your book?
Amount Over Hell is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your local bookstore, and visit me at Writer Gary on Twitter. We'd love to talk to everyone.
That would be, thank you. Thank you, miniatures, boy. All right. So that was Gary Morgenstein, former PWI writer.
If you don't mind, can we now get to the Morgan Minute? Rock and roll.
You just missed it.
What are we going to be talking about today?
You missed it. You missed it. He was just on it. I tried to call you.
I was on the phone for like 5 seconds.
I know. Well,
I said to you, I said, please
you
do not.
You missed the Morgan Minute. It's over with. So next week.
I'm not going to miss it next week.
I'm going to. All right. So now we have.
We're all going to miss it next week. We're not going to be here.
That's right. We're not going to be here. We will be at 350 Days, Warrington, PA, at the Regal next week. You got to be there. So one of my favorite columns, written columns, on OneWrestling.com was always the edgy guy named Sal Lasardo Jr.
Okay.
And he wrote a column called Rough Cuts. So I talked to him a few days ago. I said, why don't you do a rough cut audio column for our video magazine for our video magazine here. And he said, that's great. And he sent me, he made a, he called NXT Next. And then he recorded a few other takes of that, calling it NXT. But I liked his first take best when he called it Next. So right now, what I want to do, no, Sal Lasardo, we'd never embarrass him. I want to go to, I don't want to embarrass him. He's a great guy. No, he's got a great little dog by the name of Bandit.
Oh.
Yeah. So let's go right now, and you should take some notes on us. Okay. So this is Sal Lasardo Jr. Welcome to the video podcast. Let's plug you in here. And here's the first video version of Rough Cuts, and I'll be right back. Okay?
Welcome to this edition of Rough Cuts. This is Sal Lasardo reporting in from Florida. 2018 is 6 months in, and right now, for match of the year, my pick is going to be the main event at Next Takeover that just took place in Chicago on June the 16th between Anthony Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. For 40 minutes, these two guys tore the roof off the entire place. These guys went back and forth and did everything and anything conceivably imaginable in a street fight. And yet, when it was all said and done with, there were two words that I was waiting to hear, and that was, I quit. We didn't hear that. So I'm going to expect and hope that at SummerSlam weekend during TakeOver that they will have an I quit match to settle this once and for all. But needless to say, this was definitely match of the year. The crowd reaction from the opening bell to the final 1, 2, 3 was incredible. I have not seen a match like this in a long time. And for the fans to be so in tune tells you exactly how they felt about it. And both competitors deserve every bit of the applause that they needed because the fans truly responded and the wrestlers responded on top of it. So until next time, this is Sal Rough Cuts Lasardo reporting in from Orlando, Florida. May all your matches be a main event.
Well, thank you very much, Sal. I guess I'm running the show now.
Oh
my heavens!
I need, since you're wearing your patriotic Sal Lasardo Jr. Thank you so very much. Every week, except next week when we won't be here, we will have another edition of Rough Cuts. So, what happened here? Move. Come on over here. No, come on back over here. So the hat, the reason I'm wearing this hat, and I love Rough Cuts, by the way.
Yeah, no, that was great. That was a great addition.
Yeah, he's
got
great.
You out of here.
He's great. It's my show. Good young JS. Okay. So the reason I'm wearing this, you're wearing your July 4th outfit.
Yes.
Yesterday was July 4th.
July 5th is the best day.
Why is that?
You get the leftovers. You don't have to deal with any of the guests.
That's true. However, I was invited.
Did I say I had a party? I didn't.
Oh, I thought
no,
that's what I
was.
heard. Okay. Tried to call you yesterday.
I think I dropped my phone in the pool.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
you have a pool?
No.
Oh. So I'm wearing this because I heard on KYW News Radio, KYW 1060. That's how it goes, right? KYW
News Radio
1060. I forgot that. Yeah. But they were talking about celebrities and what they were doing on July 4th. And one of the cuts, a rough cut, was Hulk Hogan.
Oh.
Well, you know what I'm doing, brother. Sounded more like Mr. Wrestling number 2 just now. But this is
maybe Mr. Wrestling number 2 is Hulk Hogan. Who knows?
Maybe. You never know. He never took the mask off. Yeah. Yes, he did for me in an interview with Someone Wrestling.
In the shower or whatever it was I heard about.
Who?
What?
The Shadow?
No.
What'd you say?
In the shower.
Oh, in the shower. No, Mil Mascaras never took the mask off.
No.
This is an original Hulk Hogan World Wrestling Federation hat. And I'm here, and I'm going to do this every week until they bring him back. It's time to bring Hulk Hogan back. And I am going to try and get him on this show live somewhere in the next few weeks to talk about him coming back to WWE. He belongs back. I'm not talking to wrestle as a goodwill ambassador or something. What do you think, JS?
You know what? I would like to see him back as well. I think all fans would like to see him back. You know, look, it's an uncomfortable thing to talk about what happened, but I think people make mistakes, and the most important thing is this is a celebrity. This is a guy who could take the mistake that he made and turn that into something positive. Yeah. That's what I believe, and I believe there's no bigger stage for him to do that than the WWE. They have anti-bullying, but there's anything like that. And he made a mistake. He knew he made a mistake, and he was in a very dark part of his life. And that's not me excusing what he said by any means. But I think everybody deserves a second chance, and I think he could do a lot of good to teach people why what he did was such a bad thing to say. And I believe that he should be back home sooner than later.
Okay, so come on back home. So now, as part of your job here as co-host, I do contract over, and it does say that there's some things here in Apter's Alley that periodically need to be just kind of dusted off, and like
you
see that, not me, see the shelf over there with the 8 things on there.
Yeah.
I've got something to talk to the people about. Why don't you go check out some of the memorabilia over there and see if you can just rearrange that. So Travis Volt, it's in your contract. Good old Travis Volt, good old TV, is on vacation, so he could not do the WWE rankings this week. So he said, am I still on the show this week? I said, send me something. I haven't heard this yet. So let's check out. Let's go to TV. Travis Volts. And what do you got? Howdy,
fans.
All right.
T Volts here for the legendary Bill Apter. New feature this week, we're calling History Beckons.
Oh, history.
We're taking a look back in time. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and put yourselves back to July 4th, 1988, Reunion Arena, Dallas, Texas.
Oh, I was there.
You and 4,999 others are in attendance as you witnessed, and Bill, the fans want your feedback on this tremendous card, Nikita Koloff versus Al Perez in a Russian chain match.
I remember that.
Sting and Dr. Death, Steve Williams versus the NWA Tag Team Champions, Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson. Wow. Hey, here's more. NWA US Tag Team Champions, Bobby Fulton and Tommy Rogers. That's right, the Fantastics. They defeated Jim Cornette, Bobby Eaton, and Stan Lane in a handicap bunkhouse match. But wait, there's more. The Road Warriors defeated Ivan Koloff and the Russian Assassin in a scaffold match. Can you imagine those individuals on a scaffold?
I was there.
Main event. Lex Luger and Dusty Rhodes defeated the NWA World Champion Ric Flair and NWA United States Champion Barry Windham in a steel cage match. Wow, would I have liked to have seen that live.
You missed it.
Fans, this was tremendous Jim Crockett Promotions action. And if you enjoy all things JCP, check out the Jim Crockett Promotions Facebook group. Or, for all things, check out the loneliest Facebook group, Pro Wrestling Newsstand on Facebook. Well, that's it for me, fans. Back to Bill in the studio.
All right. Thank you so very much, Travis Folsom. By the way, when people, I'm just adjusting my comb over. When people do ask me about favorite promotions and times in the business, when he talks about Jim Crockett Promotions, that was an absolute fabulous. Road Warriors, Magnum TA, Nikita Koloff, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, Tully Blanchard. Oh, God, it was Josh, JS.
Yeah, right over here. Yeah. Everything is dusted. Every item on your shelf is exactly where it had been before, but it's dusted perfectly.
Thank you.
You know what?
What?
I don't even need a tip. It's my pleasure. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Fantastic.
Well, there's more where that came from.
Yes.
Did you bump into the Gonzo shark out there by any chance?
I did not. I try to stay away from the water.
You did? All right. Well, the Gonzo shark, as you know, every week sends his rankings in. So I'm going to go check that out, and let's go see. Let's go. You check out the Gonzo Shark's rankings here.
What's up, humanoids? This is Gonzo Shark for Bill Apter's Pro Wrestling Video Magazine podcast. and I've been summoned once again this week to bring you the top 10 rankings for the women's division of the WWE and the SmackDown Live men's division. So, without further ado, let's kick it off. And as always, I'm going to keep it gentlemanly and go with the women first. So, kicking it off for the ladies, at number 10 is one half of the Iconics, Peyton Royce. At number 9 is one-third of the Riot Squad, Liv Morgan. At number 8 is the sidekick and best friend, I assume, of Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss, Mickie James. At number 7 is a woman who did not have very much fun this week in therapy, as we all saw, but her and Bayley might be able to work it out. Who knows? I doubt it. Hopefully it's a great feud. Number 7 goes to the boss, Sasha Banks. At number 6, straight fire, Becky Lynch. At number 5, former Raw Women's Champion, Nia Jax. At number 4 is the woman who showed her mean streak, and she's traded her hugs for some hard hits, which I like. At number 4 goes to Bayley. Number 3, the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka. At number 2 is the moonwalking, trash-talking Princess of Staten Island, SmackDown Live Women's Champion, Carmella.
Yeah, I think
and at number 1 is the Raw Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss.
It's my girl.
I'm going to kick it over to the men's SmackDown Live top 10 rankings. Let's do it. At number 10, squeaking his way into the rankings, even though he got defeated by a woman this week on SmackDown Live, is the little weasel, no chin, James Ellsworth.
Wow.
At number 9 is another weasel, Aiden English. At number 8 is a guy who I hope we see back on TV soon because he's awesome, and he's a great newcomer for the WWE main roster. I'm talking about Andrade Cien Almas. At number 7 is the devil's favorite demon, the returning Kane. At number 6 is the other half of Team Hell No, Daniel Bryan. At number 5 is a guy who came up just short in his bid for the United States Championship this week against Jeff Hardy. Number 5 is The Miz. At number 4 is the guy who I would still say is WWE's top heel, the artist, Shinsuke Nakamura. At number 3 is the number 1 contender for the WWE Championship, Rusev Day, baby. At number 2, United States Champion, the enigmatic Jeff Hardy. And at number 1, just as he is every single week, the phenomenal WWE Champion, AJ Styles. Subscribe. We'd love you, and we'd love to check us out on YouTube. That's the AWO show. Also, it's Facebook.com/Gonzo1, AllMyWrestling.com, Vince Russo's The Brand, and WrestlingWithWrestling.com.
It's the water. Above water.
Yeah. Until next time, this is the Gonzo Shark for Bill Apter's Pro Wrestling Video Magazine podcast. Checking out. Back to you, Bill.
Must have cut it off when he said my name.
I don't know.
Here's a question that I have.
Go ahead.
Every week he's adding on. I am in here. You just have to move the screen over there. There you go. Every week he'll add on. He had Randy Orton one week. Well, I hope to see him back.
Right.
How can you have somebody on your top 10 if he's not there?
Well, that's like Brock Lesnar being on the Raw roster.
No, but Brock Lesnar is always at the very end.
Strip him of the title.
You can't strip him of the title.
Strip him of the title. I say that. I say that all the time. I do want to mention to people out there that on that shelf that you dusted off, did you notice that videotape?
I didn't. I really didn't pay attention to.
No, but you saw there was a VHS
the
tape,
items that were on it.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
yeah,
sure.
So I unearthed several videotapes last night. One of them was an AWA interview I did with Medusa when she was the AWA Women's Champion. But the biggie is that Craig Peters, the former PWI editor, set up with WCW for a few guys to wish me happy birthday for my 50th birthday. And he got 2 guys to do it.
Okay.
Sting and Macho Man Randy Savage. No one has seen these videos except the people that worked in the PWI office.
When you say 50th, so that was what, at least
a year ago, right? So I got a bad back from getting out of covered wagons. So
I still don't understand what that means.
So those videos will be shown for the very first time when I'm on the Scott Hall tour for 2 days for Kayfabe Events. Go to Kayfabe Events, at Kayfabe Events on Twitter, and you'll see the 2 days. I will be in London, England.
I want to check out Big Ben while we're there.
You're not. I will be in London, England at the, and then the next day in Hove, which is right near Brighton. It'll be the Friday and Saturday of that week before Thanksgiving here in the United States. So I cannot wait to get together with some of my old UK friends and friends from Scotland and Ireland who are going to come and see me, and a lot of people in the business, and make some new friends. And if you want my book,
I got you.
Thank you. Is Wrestling Fixed?
I didn't know it was broken.
Thank you. If you want a copy of that for me to sign, your best bet is get it on Amazon UK or any Amazon or any bookstore you can find it on, and bring it to the show, and I will not charge you for an autograph for that. We'll do that for free. I'm also will be at All In and StarCast Labor Day weekend. Josh JS, Good Young JS, will be covering us. Covering it for OneWrestling.com.
I will. Excited.
In August, I will be at Awesome Wrestling Entertainment for the night of the Stinger, night of the Icon. Sting will be there. That's that's October. That will be in October. November is England. So I got a busy schedule. Yeah. October 15th, twice a year, Legends of the Ring. That's Legends of the Ring 2. So you should come to that too.
I'm there.
Yeah,
I would love it.
But don't forget
the schedules. They're going to make a documentary about you.
They might.
15 days.
15. I got a joke there, but this is a PG show. Don't forget, next Thursday we will not be here. I might do an after chat out of nowhere during the week. But Josh and I, along with Paul Big Bear and a lot of other people, will be at the Regal in Warrington for 350 days. I can't wait to see it.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. So you don't have an independent wrestler of the week this week?
I don't have an independent wrestler of the week this week. So
no one sent you any?
No. What happened was I looked over the entire independent scene.
Yeah.
And I just didn't find anybody that stacked up to the Solution, Dave Sagan, which is why I'm bringing him back for a second week.
Who's Dave Sagan?
Dave Sagan,
all right,
the Solution.
So I think next week, if you people have a suggestion for his independent wrestler of the week, where should they send it?
Send it to me.
Where do they
At
find
So Says Chernoff. It's SHERNOFF. Chernoff, as in Josh Chernoff, as in not or Good Young JS.
I love that name. JJ Dillon loved that name too.
Yeah, JJ Dillon.
Oh, Myron is saying we got to get out of here.
Yeah, people to talk to on here. We're just going to ignore them?
Well, no, but they want to go and watch Impact Wrestling. So let's real quickly go down the line here and see if we can answer a few of the questions. Hello to everybody, by the way. Let's see. There's a lot of questions here. Yeah. People are talking to each other.
Okay. Well, look, we're building a community here. We
are. We want to thank all of you, by the way, for tuning in every week here. And
it's tripled since I joined.
Yeah. There's 3 more people. Thank you, by the way, to JJ Dillon.
Yes, that was actually great to talk to.
He's a great talker. He's a great talker.
Yeah.
And if JJ said, ask him a question for a minute, and he'll give you 2 days.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. And we will have a special night just for our recorded features and your questions and comments. That was the funny bone.
Oh.
So listen, this was Masked Wrestler theme week.
I'm not even going to try to get this thing back on, but I'm just going to hold it up.
Where are the eyes? Where are they? I put this mask on 5,000 times.
There you go.
Yo, like Insane Bill Mascolo will see you at the matches.
See you at the matches.
Okay. Adios.
Should keep that on.
That's it.